Hey, how's it going, guys? Hope you're doing well. Today's gonna be the story about the time where we ran our plugs pockets. This story happened with me and Michael. We go way back around elementary school, and I was around high school when this happened. Now, to give you some context behind the story, I was one of the first friends out of my friend group at like 16 years old to get a car and a license at the same time. I was pretty fucking lucky. Not gonna get into where I got the car from, it's kind of sad, but hey, whatever, it is what it is. And so, around this time, my friends needed rides home from school, but a lot of my friends weren't really good friends, you know what I mean? I kind of fucking hated a lot of them, actually. It was kind of fucked up. I don't know what the hell type of situation, but it was a fucked one, and I didn't like it. So there's only a couple people that I really kicked it with outside of high school, and Michael was one of them. Michael was a good friend. Like I said, known him for a long time. Me and Michael, we both worked at the same fucking job. In fact, he got me this shitty little job, first ever job I ever had in my life, and same with him. And we would work this job, and we would get paid pretty decently because even though it was still a shit job, the owner really cared about his employees, and he would pay us decently, give us Christmas bonuses and all that. It was lit. And so we would have some, play money for weed. And so to make this money even stretch longer, we would fucking buy ounces together. And we used to have this main plug. We're just gonna call him Mr. Johnson, you know what I mean? This dude was only a couple years older than us, but fuck it, Mr. Johnson's a dope ass name, why not? So Mr. Johnson used to be our plug. One day, Mr. Johnson just fell off the face of the earth. And without Mr. Johnson, the times were looking dark, man, and they were looking bleak because everyone else in the high school had mid, and mid was not something we were accustomed to smoking at this point. We were on some pretty good, we were on top shelf, but we were on decent shit. Some shit that you'd smell from across the fucking room and be like, damn, what the fuck is that? Like, whatever this fucking guy had going on, whatever his plug was, they were doing him good. And he was doing us pretty decent with the prices too. Prices weren't all that bad. They weren't nothing to write home about. It wasn't exorbitant like you're cutting off an arm and a leg. You're only really cutting off a pinky, and who the fuck needs that? You know what I mean? Fuck it. You're in high school, you're gonna get that weed, you're gonna smoke and have a good time. However, this was kind of one of those days. So Plugman Johnson's off the fucking table, and so we only really had a couple of dealers between the two of us. Most of them being shitty high school students ourselves, so they weren't really that good with selling weed. Sometimes I'd be able to hit them up in 15 minutes and be like, bet, I got you, I'll come through. Here's a decent price and here's some decent weed. Other days I want to hear back, and I just didn't like the inconsistencies. I wanted another Dude Man Johnson to be my plug, and so we went on the search. Now, me only having a couple people that were pretty shitty, I texted them and I didn't hear anything back, so it was kind of just fucked from the beginning. My friend Michael, however, he hits up a kid named Kyle. Now, I've known Kyle since before I even knew Michael, but we never really kicked it, you know what I mean? Me and Kyle, we never really got along that well. I mean, we did, but it was just kind of like oh, I know you exist, you know I exist. I went over to his house once and slept over. It was a bad experience. It is what it is. And so when I knew that we were getting weed off this kid, I was kind of like, okay, I mean, at least it's not a fucking stranger, you know what I mean? Maybe this kid's cool now. I haven't talked to him since pretty much back then, dude. I've only seen him in passing. And so we're like, bet, we're gonna buy weed off this kid decent. So my friend Michael, he hits him, and it takes around 20 minutes to get a response and then we get a response, and he's like, oh, wait 15 minutes, I gotta do something, blah, 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 whatever. We're like, bet, we'll be there in 15. So before that, we had a couple bowls of smoke between ourselves, and we did. We were listening to some Joe Rogan, just hanging out, chilling, doing high schooler shit, not doing our fucking homework like we should have, and instead fucking around. And where we'd smoke in this kid's garage, bro. It was kind of a whack situation, but also it was probably one of my favorite spots to smoke ever, because his parents hated the fact that he smoked weed, bro, and they hated the fact that I smoked weed with him. That made it even 10 times worse, because there was some stoned ass kid going from their house out into the world, fucking driving, goddamn whipping and turning. I don't even know how I didn't hit somebody, dude. I'd never do this shit anymore, but back in high school I was a gremlin, and I was also a fiend. So we were smoking our bowls, waiting the 15 minutes to fucking go to this kid's house, and eventually we get the text like, you can come through, and we're like, bet. We get up in my whip and we start driving to this kid's house. He doesn't live too far away, so it was only it wasn't even a 10-minute drive. I think it was more of a 5-minute drive. And we get to this kid's house and we pull over, and we're just waiting for him to come outside. My friend texts him, hey, where are you? We're outside. Eventually he comes out. I haven't seen the kid in a while, so seeing him for the first time, actually taking a good look at him, it was kind of like, damn, bro, you grew up. This is wild. I remember when you were mad small, and so was I. And he goes up and he comes in the whip, and we start driving for a little bit, because this is usually how deals would go back in the day when no one has a fucking house to deal at. We would use my car. My car was the mobile fucking, tenant shop, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, dude. It was the weed store, basically. It was the weed. My car basically just had a lot of weed that went through it at one point. And this is one of those days, so of course, as with how all these deals go, Bugman needs a fucking drink, so he wants me to stop at a gas station. I'm like, okay, fucking fine. The gas station's not too far away. I don't really mind. It is what it is. He's gonna give us weed, and we don't have anyone else to get weed off of, so I'm gonna oblige. So I take him to the gas station, and all the while, I'm just focusing on driving. My friend Michael's handling this transaction, getting the shit done. And we eventually get to the gas station. When we get to this gas station, I hear something I never want to hear. I hear oh fuck. As I'm putting it in park, I look over to my friend Michael. My friend Michael is giving me a weird look as he's looking around and and shit, like feeling around. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And he like kind of like, he can't really whisper to me because we're all in the same car. This car's small as fuck. And he's like, dude, like I don't know where this ounce is. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where the fucking ounce is? And at this point, he's already given the money. The kid has the money. He could run out of this car at this point if he wanted to. And we're like, oh fuck, like, you know, just check underneath the seat. You know, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to keep the tension down because my friend Michael, he was a good guy, but sometimes he couldn't read the fucking room, man. I don't know what the hell. Sometimes it just left him. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Love him to death, but he was just really fucking up in this situation. So I was trying to cover for him, like, okay, like maybe you just dropped it, you know, haha, like everything's still peachy. And when he says that he can't find the ounce, the fucking car goes silent. And I'm just kind of looking at him. I'm looking at my dude man Johnson to be Kyle, you know, like what the fuck? Like, wait a minute, what? Like everything's just silent. I remember nobody spoke for a good minute. I don't know why it was so awkward. Any other normal conversation, like someone would have been like, oh, you know, just check your pockets. You know, no one said anything. Eventually Kyle pipes up and he's like, oh, like, why don't you check your pockets? For whatever fucking reason, my friend Michael got really pissed off that he asked him to check his own pockets. I don't know why. He just got so mad. He's like, you really? Like, I already checked my pockets, bro. Like, getting just angry for whatever reason. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is bad, dude. Like, I don't want to back up whatever situation's about to happen out of this if we can't find this ounce. So, you know, Kyle looks at me, he's kind of like looking at me to be like, you know, check your pockets too. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, ooh, like, he's like, okay, like, fuck it, I will. Like, I didn't even touch this shit. But I'm checking my pockets too. And then I look to him and I'm like, hey, man, like, why don't you check your pockets real quick? And for whatever reason, this kid starts getting pissy with me, man. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's so disrespectful. Like, why the fuck are you telling me to check my pockets and shit? And I'm like, dude, listen, we're not on no fucking funny shit. Just check, like, just to make sure you actually gave him the fucking weed, man. Like, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, you had the ounce in here. We know it's here. You just gotta find it, right? And so he gives me a little bit more attitude, but eventually he starts checking his pockets. It is what it is, right? Because pretty much if he didn't check his pockets, I was afraid Michael was gonna start fucking swinging on this kid, and I wasn't gonna let Michael fight alone. I was gonna jump this kid with him. Because, you know, that's just, you know, that's what friends do. You're not gonna let your friend fight alone. You're gonna jump on the kid too. And so he's checking his pockets, and he can't find this fucking ounce, dude. And I swear to God, my hands are sweating, dripping with sweat at this point, dude, because I don't know what the fuck's about to happen. My friend Michael has an anger problem, dude. Like, I don't want no dumb shit to happen in this fucking gas station parking lot. The cops are right there. So we're looking for this ounce. So eventually Michael pipes up and he says, oh, I found it. Like, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, holy fuck. Telepathically, I don't know if you ever got this message, but I sent it to him strong as fuck. I'm like, dude, you need to stay on your fucking game. Like, I was looking at him like, so I was mean mugging him a little bit, dude. I kind of felt bad afterwards, but I'm like, fuck it. You know, we got the ounce. Thank God. Kyle's pissed off. You know, he does not want to sell us some weed anymore, but he still does after this. So fuck it. And I'm like, okay, go in and get your drink. I'm so sorry about that. Like, I'll drop you off, bro. Like, don't even worry about it. And he's like, okay, facts. He goes in, gets his drink. He comes back out, gets in the car, and we drive him home. The fucking most silent car ride ever, dude. The most awkward shit. My friend Michael doesn't even seem bothered about what just happened. I'm just sitting there trying to deal with the anxiety still. Eventually, we drop the kid off and we go back to Michael's house and we fucking inspect the ounce. It's actually pretty decent shit. We smoke it, we get high, and it's a good time. That's pretty much it for the story, man. I'm glad you guys tuned in. You know, I appreciate it. Yeah, bye.